As we get started on our Bible class, if you want to turn somewhere, turn to John 12:25. It's going to be kind of a topical class, so we'll jump around a little bit, but that's where we'll get started, John 12 and verse 25. We're starting a new Bible class series, and it's talking about being uncomfortable. And so it's a little bit different style than what we've done, but there was a preacher, and he used a term, and that term is listed on the bottom of the sheet. And I got studying it, looking at it and such, and I found out what book he used. And so I went and found that book, and the book is very different. And so we're kind of making up the little 13-lesson series on being uncomfortable and about how Christianity is not necessarily about being comfortable, although we do find our rest in Jesus. But to be a Christian means that we place ourselves in uncomfortable spots. Now, go ahead and look at that first section there where it says a call to embrace discomfort. Maybe your children, you had them take violin lessons, or maybe you had your kids in the band. You know, your kid gets a tuba, a trombone, a trumpet, a violin, whatever it may be. In those first few weeks when they're learning, how does it sound? I won't make you say that about your children. Let's talk about all the other children, okay? How do they sound? Oh man, it hurts, right? I love going to the middle school, the sixth grade concert, and you know, they're playing, and the loudest thing you hear the whole time is everybody tapping their foot. You know, and it's just like, oh, every clarinet is squeaking because they don't have the reeds in the right place. Everything just sounds so bad. Yeah?
I know because I was there. I started tonette,
Yeah?
clarinet,
Okay.
concerts,
Yeah.
marching band.
There you go. So you have lived the band experience. You remember what it was like, right? Okay. Now, many of us picked up a violin for the first time, picked up a trumpet for the first time, picked up a clarinet, and after about 3 or 4 squeaks, we're like, I'm done. You know, for the sake of my family, I am done. Okay? If you quit, are you ever going to be good? No. And the way to become proficient on an instrument is to go through those difficult times which are there. All right. Basketball. There are some people who are just naturals. But when you first start, are you going to hit every three-pointer? Very unlikely, right? Very, very unlikely. When I was in high school, I also went to community college, and it was Odessa College. I went there when I was a sophomore and junior and senior, you know, trying to get college credits and such. And a guy was there, his name was Larry Johnson, and of course he is very retired. I think he may even have a kid who's about to play for the league now. That's how old he was. He was much older than I was. But it was interesting. He had come, he played there, later he played at UNLV, and then he played for Charlotte and many other teams in the NBA. But his practice was so interesting. He would find 4 or 5 spots on the floor, and he would shoot 500 times a shot from that spot. And what he trained himself to do as you're going around, maybe all NBA players are this way, he would have certain places on the floor where every time he shot, he'd make it. But he had shot from that location over and over and over. Now, as soon as the defense watches some film, they'll know you're going to that space, so you have to find some other spot. But it is interesting to me, he would shoot well over 1,000 times, maybe 1,500 times every day. But by doing that, every time he shot, it would go in. But when you start, you're not going to be great. I remember the very first time I preached. I remember it very well. Philippians 2, 5 through 11 was what my sermon was about. And I had about 22 pages of notes. And I got up, and that sermon lasted about 3 minutes. I went through 22 pages in 3 minutes, and I got down, and I thought to myself, I am never, ever doing that again. I'm done. That was terrible. Okay? Now, you can tell me stories about maybe it's farming, maybe it's about growing a vegetable, maybe it's about painting, drawing, or even when you started your career, whatever it may be. when you start, if it's worth doing, you're not going to be great. You're going to have to work your way into it, embrace the difficult until you're able to master it. So it's working through these uncomfortable situations that